Exactly. And
Only that.
yeah, just this that small manner of needing something to do. And thus began this process, which went on for months, of Reed and I kind of searching for a business idea. And we had a methodology, so don't think this is random. And Reed and I happened to live in the same town. We lived in Santa Cruz, California together. And we had gotten in the habit many months earlier of commuting to work together. And so once we knew we were selling the company, once we knew we were losing our jobs, we still were commuting to work. But now the conversation in the car shifted. And what would happen is Reed would pick me up at my house and we'd barely be out of my driveway. And I'd go, okay, Reed, I've got one for you. Personalized shampoo. You're going to cut off a lock of your hair. You're going to mail it to us. And we're going to have a team of hair scientists who are going to formulate a custom blend, and people are going to subscribe to it. And the same thing would happen no matter what I pitched, is there'd be silence. Reed would be staring out the window, just steering the car. And you'd think he hadn't even heard me, but I knew that kind of behind that stoic face, all the calculations were taking place, like, you know, the risk and reward and the costs and the benefits. And it might take 5 minutes, 10 minutes of silence, but then eventually he would turn to me and go, that will never work. And he would lay into me with all the reasons it's such a bad idea. But of course, I could come prepared and I'd come right back at him with all the research I had done, all the reasons I was sure it was a good idea. And we would do one of these arguments all the way to the office, and if need be, all the way home. And until we either decided there was promise or no promise. And almost all of the time, there was very, very little promise in these ideas. But next day, I'd have another one. Like, okay, Reed, personalized pet food, custom sporting goods, vitamins. I mean, I pitched all those ideas. I pitched them one, video rental by mail. People are going to come to the website. They're going to pick out a movie. We're going to mail them the movie, and they'll keep it for a week, and then they'll mail it back. And at the time, though, this was 1996, 97, video rental, you may remember, it was on VHS cassettes. So they were too big and too heavy and too expensive. And so that idea got trashed exactly the same way that the dog food and the personalized shampoo did, and kept on searching. And then the breakthrough, if there was one, came one morning where Reed picked me up and I'm on my way out the door, out the driveway. I got one for you. And he stops me and goes, I got to tell you about something I read about. There's this technology that came out. It's called the DVD. It's this little disc that holds a movie, and it's thin and it's light. And we brainstormed that a little bit and realized this could be the unlock for that old video rental by mail idea we had talked about 6 or 8 weeks ago. And then we did this quintessentially entrepreneurial thing, which is mid-commute, we turned the car around and drove the car back into Santa Cruz to try and validate this idea. We did not go to the office and do a business plan. We did not work on a pitch deck. We tried to collide the idea with real people.
That day,
mid-commute, turned the car around, went down into Santa Cruz, tried to buy a DVD, couldn't find one, settled for buying a used music CD, same size, same weight, then went 2 doors down and bought a little envelope that you'd put a greeting card in, and put this CD in the envelope, addressed it to Reed's house, bought a stamp, and dropped it in the mail and went to work. And that very next morning when Reed picked me up, he held up a little pink envelope with an unbroken CD in it that had gotten to his house in less than 24 hours for the price of a stamp. And that was probably the moment we said, this actually might work. We can use the post office. And that shifted everything. And that's the point we began saying, this could be the idea that we do together.